William D. Upshaw was raised in rural Cobb County, Georgia, just outside of Atlanta. An accident had left him bedridden for 7 years from 1888 to 1895. A gifted public speaker in the early 1900s, he often spoke from a wheelchair, but his physical disability was not a life sentence. As early as 1915, Upshaw was once again mobile. In an interview with the Shreveport Times, Congressman Upshaw admitted that his days of disability were behind him and that he was no longer confined to a rolling chair. As a fundamentalist Christian with powerful connections, Upshaw used his political influence attempting to wage war against alcohol. He was one of the key figures of the Anti-Saloon League, and Upshaw helped Georgia become a dry state in 1907. He had earned quite a reputation as the editor of the Golden Age publication, a weekly paper well known for its noble and moral tones. He was also a nationally recognized revivalist, one who could attract large crowds. His combination of politics and religion was very popular in the South. By the time he became a Georgia congressman in 1919, he already had the ability to sway political votes in cities across the nation. That fact was evident by simply examining the trail of dry states in the wake of his revivals. From the time he regained mobility in 1895 through the early 1900s, he used a wheelchair as part of his own stage persona. In speeches and sermons across the nation, Upshaw balanced his time between his wheelchair and his crutches. He had a huge setback in March of 1910 when a fall from a buggy broke one leg. Though it hurt him physically, it may have helped him strategically. It further enhanced his ability to gain the sympathy of the crowd. Upshaw's national popularity increased until he became a common household name. He became known as the Georgia Cyclone for his ability to storm through a city like a whirlwind. Posing in his crutches, Upshaw's photo was published in newspapers across the nation. I became curious as to why the prophet said that he had never heard of Congressman Upshaw. In Jeffersonville, Indiana, the town of distilleries, Upshaw would have been public enemy number one. During the same year that the Ku Klux Klan was formed on Stone Mountain, Georgia in 1915, Upshaw announced his run for public office. The battle against the liquor industry was soon to have a powerful ally in Washington, D.C. Finding Roy E. Davis and William D. Upshaw together in 1943 was too big of a coincidence to ignore. Davis was also well connected in Atlanta, and his Ku Klux Klan activities were publicized in newspapers across the state. Upshaw, a prominent member of Atlanta government, would have known all about Davis's sketchy past, even without being involved with the Ku Klux Klan. His knowledge would not only have come from the newspaper descriptions of Davis's dual life and criminal past. Both men were nationally recognized revivalists, and they would have known each other in religious circles just as much as they would have in political circles. Looking through the newspapers of the early 1920s, it was very easy to find articles about Roy Davis and William Upshaw. In fact, it was overwhelming. There were simply too many articles in too many newspapers from too many cities and too many states. As an official spokesperson for the Ku Klux Klan, Roy Davis held lectures throughout Georgia and the surrounding states. In 1921, however, I noticed a significant change in acceptance of Davis and the Klan. Though the Ku Klux Klan was very popular shortly after its birth, that popularity would quickly fade as the organization became more violent and terroristic. By the early 1920s, its appeal was quickly fading.